The nation's economic and civic future depends on the success of all its students, including those who are English learners, also known as ELs. They face challenges, however, to success in school because learning English while learning academics is hard, and improving school for ELs is just the right thing to do, and it has a positive impact on the school and the community as a whole.
There's a growing portion of our student body who speak a language other than English at home. That's something we welcome. It's a great part of our community. But in order to do right by the children, if I can say it in that way, we need to make sure we're providing them with the safety net in terms of language ability so that they can truly prosper.
Most teachers have in their classroom 1 or 2 or 10 or more students who are English learners, along with everybody else.
Teachers really care about their students. Teachers really want to do the best for their students, including students that come from immigrant backgrounds, but sometimes the skill set of how to do it most effectively is lacking.
In fact, today, 1 of every 10 students is an English learner. That means most classroom teachers are or will be working with EL students. But the majority of those teachers will tell you they are underprepared and lack confidence in their ability to work with these students or to connect with them and their families.
Yeah, parents have different schedules, so you just have to work around and find out what's the optimal time for them.
When I first started, I only worked at the high school. We had 1 class, and it was extremely challenging to meet the needs of my English learners. They all had different classes, different teachers, different expectations, and I couldn't meet with all of them outside of the ESL classroom.
Many schools are challenged to locate, hire, and retain English as a second language specialists. Visit any school, even schools well staffed with bilingual and ESL instructors, and still you will see the average EL student spends less than 50 minutes per day engaged in English language instruction. That means more than 80% of their time is spent with well-intentioned, hardworking teachers who know little about how to scaffold their academic content so that ELs can understand it. As a result, ELs are disproportionately taught by less qualified teachers at a time when complex academic standards necessitate well-prepared teachers more than ever.
I feel empathy for the children who are either immigrants or children of recent immigrants, and they're learning English while they're trying to make friends and fit in and learn the content. And it's a lot, and I want to help them.
Making matters worse, there are teacher requirements to complete many hours of workshop or classroom study that may or may not be useful to them.
They're getting that instruction almost always from a teacher who has little or no background in how to work with English learners. And the standards are the same, they're not, the expectations are the same. So it's a really critical place to impact. Teachers are responsible for engaging those students. They're responsible for the learning and the progress that they make. And teachers themselves are held accountable for the progress all their students make. And they don't get a pass on, well, the student, is an English learner.
Now there's a valuable alternative to traditional and often ineffective traditional professional development. After years in the works, a program created through research conducted by UCLA Center X has resulted in the Excel Leadership Academy.
The work that we're doing doesn't really work with how you teach a child English. It's more about how you teach a child who doesn't speak English or who's learning English, how you teach them everything else, social studies, English, math, all the other subjects. There's really nothing else out there for regular classroom teachers. They're all designed to prepare the ESL specialists.
The more we learn and the better we become at our profession and helping English learners, then really the better for everybody.
The Excel Leadership Academy's micro-credential program uses a competency-based approach where teachers learn while doing and demonstrating their skill.
It's building capacity. It's allowing teachers to take their their skills, which are considerable, and their love of their students, and add to that toolbox, if you will, some very specific tools that allow for students that speak a different language at home to make that switch to adapt to English and master English.
Teachers interface with the online system. They do an analysis of their student needs. They do a plan for their project. They collect evidence of whatever it is they're doing. Then they reflect on what they learned and what they still need to do.
Acquired skills are formally recognized by microcredentials. Staff, coaches, and partners at the Excel Leadership Academy prepare all teachers to work with English learners. This approach melds current knowledge of effective adult learning and effective instruction for ELs geared toward mainstream teachers. By using a microcredential approach in which teachers progress at their own rate and demonstrate their mastery of best practices, Excel Leadership Academy makes professional learning about ELs more accessible to more teachers.
The importance of personalizing it, making it relevant not only to you, but relevant to your school. Oftentimes you sit in a classroom and you're wondering, what's the point? What am I doing here? How is this going to affect me and my students? I think the microcredentials solves that problem. It addresses it.
This approach engages teachers in self-directed learning and recognizes and rewards mastery of best practices that demonstrably improve student outcomes. Resources are provided that help guide professional learning, but ultimately, the pathway and resources used are individual choices.
The online pieces are they're rubric driven, they're designed to meet certain standards. The work is not graded. Teachers may get something back that says, something wasn't clear in the evidence, or we think you could expand your reflection a little bit more, that sort of thing. So the feedback they get is to help them complete the process. How they get there and what project they choose to do that's entirely up to them. And it's driven by the kids in front of them and their own professional learning needs.
What I love about the microcredentials is that every school analyzes a need that they have in particular. We select where we have a need and design a project to help us meet that need. I always believe that we should practice what we preach. If we want to do project-based learning, have our students do it, we should also practice it. And I think that the microcredential is a great opportunity to do that kind of project.
Through this program, practitioners who demonstrate their knowledge and skill in implementing practices that improve student outcomes can be designated as effective educators of English learners. Microcredentials certify that educators have reached the highest professional standards and demonstrated competence through evidence of improved classroom practice and student outcomes.
I was awarded a microcredential, and it was, I have been doing dialogue journals with my high school students. I love dialogue journals. It's an opportunity for me to really build relationships with my students. But until the microcredential came along, I really wasn't using them as efficiently as I could have. I learned about the dynamic language learning progressions and how I can use student writing samples to help improve their writing, to gradually give them the tools they need to apply and improve their skills.
I learned a lot of strategies. I learned ways of making English learners more comfortable around me, to lower their affective filter, to make it so that they were feeling comfortable enough to take risks. Also, what strategies would help make the content comprehensible so that the children understand what it is that we're teaching, the content.
We've seen success already. We've been, for our state testing, we've seen as one of the schools that had great achievement. So I think that moving forward, we're going to continue with it.
You can do it in a team. It doesn't have to be just by yourself. You can work together and really do something great for your school at the same time as getting something for yourself.
It helps the students to feel almost just like a part of the class, and they don't necessarily want to be pointed out that they speak a different language, and I think it helps them too to learn the language. It's been the greatest change, I think, for our school, because we've been able to not only work closely and learn from our TESOL teacher, but also working as a community to help parents feel more welcome at our school, get them more involved. So that's been really great.
Excel has developed a sequential, tiered approach to career advancement based on earned micro-credentials. Every classroom teacher working with English learners should complete the 6 basic micro-credentials. Those who are interested in becoming ESL specialist teachers may go on to complete the second set of micro-credentials. Satisfying the requirements for each micro-credential generally takes between 10 and 20 hours, spread out over an academic year, and many participants choose to work on multiple micro-credentials at the same time. Feedback and support from peers and the Excel team are always available.
These kids are not just my kids, but they're our kids, and that we're all language teachers, that we're all responsible for bringing them to the academic excellence that we expect all of our students to have. One of the micro-credentials is about school climate and family engagement, and that's what my team at the high school is trying to do right now, trying to get the students involved in their school, trying to get the parents involved in the school so that all of us together can really support them and help achieve success.
I love it. I love it. I feel like it's my calling. I feel like everything I've done so far has led me, I'm going to get emotional, has led me to this, and I just feel like I belong here. It's a feeling in my heart. I can't explain it. I'm sorry.